Alrighty guys, so let's start this rebuild off. So I removed the cover here from the back. Basically, I did it kind of a lazy way. I didn't feel like busting the rivets or anything, so I just knocked the rod out and removed it. It seemed to be the easiest way to do it. So what I'm going to be doing first off is I'm going to be removing the engine and the transmission to clear out all that space in there so I can concentrate on the axles and stuff. So let's get this engine out of here. So what I got to do is those two bolts there, those three bolts there, and then disconnect the exhaust, and let's get that engine out. Abracadabra. Now that the engine's out, let's go ahead and pull the transmission. So I'm going to have to disconnect these linkages here and down here, undo these chains, and then there's 4 bolts. There's one like here, one on the other side, and then one right there. And then I can pull this T20 out and really clear off some space. So let's go ahead and get that yanked out. Abracadabra. Cool. Now that we got the transmission out, it's a lot more room to work in here. So now it's just a matter of getting these loose ass chains out of here. Rusted all to hell. And I really hope like hell that once I pull these bolts out, these are a bolt through design type axle, and these sprockets right here are welded to this sleeve essentially, and the axles run through this sleeve. A lot of the times these sleeves weld themselves or rust themselves onto the axle, and they won't allow the axle to slide out. I really hope that's not the case, because then I'll be cutting axles off of it instead. But we'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, I think I'm done for the day. I'm gonna go have a beer and kick back, and then tomorrow I'll start in on these, like I said, on the axles and stuff, and get this frame out of here. It's a pretty easy breakdown so far, right? Alrighty then. So I pulled the center bolts out. You can see that the holes don't line up anymore in there with the axle and the sleeve where the sprocket is. That's a good sign, because the axle is spinning freely in this one, this middle one, and this front one. This middle one. However, that back one and this front one, that sleeve is pretty much locked solid onto the axle. The sleeve itself won't spin free of the axle itself, so 4 out of 6 ain't bad, I guess. So the next step is going to be to jack it up, get it off its wheels, and pull the tires, and get to pulling the axles that I can pull off out. Yeah, that's not going to be a snap my fingers moment on this one. So I'll just have to go ahead and do what I'm going to do after explaining to you what I've got to do. Now, on each one of these also, there's a little lock collar. Little lock collar, right. Let me move out of the light here. There we go. So there's that lock collar right there at the end. There's little Allen machine screws that kind of go in there and lock that collar into place. And that's what holds the axle from sliding out, essentially, along with the hub. Right here on the outside, there's another sleeve or another lock collar right there. So I'm gonna have to get both of those off once I get the tires off, and undo those bolts, and then this this bearing collar will come out, and the axle should slide out. should. Well, onwards and upwards. All right, so next, the tires. I'm going to take the tires off. Notice that center one didn't spin. It's because that one's already been broke free from the sleeve. So again, that rear and that front are going to give me some trouble. But these three are ready to come out. And I've already taken one axle out, one tire off. Pretty simple. Undo the lug nuts, take the tire off. For the axle, there are these 4 bolts that go through the bearing flange right here. There's a bearing in there, and of course it simply slides in. You can see the sleeve, the lip of the sleeve right there, which is this sprocket sleeve, which also has the disc brake on it. You can see that it's already loose, so I'm gonna have to undo these bolts and flip this up so I can take this sleeve off. I'm gonna take the chains off. I left them on for a reason, so that the sleeves won't turn when I try and pull the axle. Let's go ahead and get these other tires and axles out. All right, so got all 3 axles out on this side. That one did have to bust out the slide hammer. That sleeve, again, these are the sleeves here. So this is the the sleeve. Bolt goes through there, matches up with the hole in the axle. All right. And yeah, that can be pretty tight. Slides over inside the machine, you know. But yeah, those things can get boogered up real quick. Any rust that gets between this axle and the sprocket sleeve will cause that to seize. I mean, bad, to where you end up cutting axles off. So the hub on this is kind of odd. So again, that's another sleeve. The axle is solid bar stock with the hole drilled in it for the bolt. And again, this is just another sleeve and hub. And the way these tires work, really, really tiny hubs. Obviously, you can see that. This is the rim. So you put that in there, you can see how that creates a space inside there to where it's like the rim becomes part of the axle, and you know, pretty cool design. But they could have just went with a regular hub design like the Argo did, where you can put a 5-lug, you know, 5-lug tire on it with a 8-inch rim upwards to a 9 or 10-inch rim on it. So, but people do that. They take these, and there's an adapter. You bolt the adapter right here on this, and then the adapter is a bigger round plate with the 5 lugs on it, so that you can put Argo tires on these things. So, but all the axles are actually in pretty good shape. They did molly grease those, thank God, but that one was still hard to come out. Now I got to get the other side. That middle one should come out. Those two, I'm gonna have to slide hammer those, obviously. So, all right, I'll start working on the other side. All right, so as I'm working on this side here, 2 of the tires wouldn't come off of the axles, as you see here. That part right there actually fits inside of the rim, like so, and it gets a little rusty in there around that lip. So I'm gonna have to knock that axle out of that rim, clean it up, make sure it's greased up. But I had to pull the axle with the tire already attached to it out. That one is not going to be so easy. I'm going to have to try and get that tire off somehow, because that's stuck too. Because this front one and this back one were the ones that were kind of stuck on the on the sprocket sleeve on the inside of the tub. So yeah. 3 came out easy, or actually 4 came out easy now, kinda, and 2 of them are giving me problems. So yeah, it's par for the course. Either way, that's stuck. That one's stuck. So I have a 20-ton press. So I cut that axle off, which is essentially nothing more than 1-inch bar stock. So I'll buy some 1-inch bar stock to the prescribed length and match up the holes, you know, to put a new sprocket on, and I'll press that the one that I cut off out of that sleeve right there. Same with the back, and I'll reuse the sleeves and just go that route. So all right, that's what I got to do to get the frame out. All right, I'm gonna start cutting. Well, as you can see, I went ahead and cut the axles out of it. Front axle and the rear axle. You can see right there. Cut that off there. I have a 20-ton press, so I'll situate this in the press and press the remaining part of the axle out of the sleeve that it obviously just rusted itself onto it. So hopefully I'll be able to break that off. And same with this one. Now I can get it out. I'll have to undo this bracket right here and remove this pillow, inner pillow bearing, so that I can get that out of there. So now I can get the frame out at least and start reconditioning and restoring the frame. Now that the axles are out, we can go ahead and lift the frame out. You can see it's loosely fitted in there now. I'm gonna have to take the muffler out first so it can raise straight up. But let's get this frame out. Now that we got the frame out, and I cleaned up a little bit of the dirt in there, so I can go ahead and power wash this frame. Go ahead and continue taking off moving parts and things like that, and getting them ready for paint and reconditioning and things. First will be a good power wash of this to get most of the dirt and grime off that I can. Then I'm going to use an engine degreaser on it and then power wash it all over again and get it completely stripped down and ready for paint. Same with the tub. And figure out a way to bring this color back. I mean, you can definitely tell the difference in the color, right? The faded areas. Right there, right there. Now this is ABS plastic, so it's sun fades, but I think with a little bit of light sandpaper to get rid of some of this oxidation of the plastic itself. We'll try that. Not an acetone bath, we'll try that. We'll see. All right, time to break out the power washer. Well, I'm power washing it, and you can definitely tell the difference. Yeah, I think we can get the color of the body to come back for sure. All right. All right, so I've been working for about a half an hour now, just on this part here, and right around in this area here, with one of these sponges. Right, works pretty well. That sun fade or UV damage on that ABS plastic is what, yeah, but it's about 46 years worth of buildup on there. But it's comes off. It feels really rough, as like almost like a. By the time I scrub it with this thing, it comes off like a chalky residue, like plastic chalk or something. Fuck that sponge. That looked like a lot of work, huh? If you like the video, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for part 2. It only gets better.